everyone, Pampered Chef Molly, Chef Malpel here in my kitchen where I am going to make a French onion chicken bake in the 2023 fall winter season's best. So I'm super excited to share this recipe with all of you and show you how easy this is to make in your own kitchen, because who doesn't love new recipes? So one of the exciting things about this is it's using several of our new fall winter products. The first product is the small square stone baker, this beautiful satin white finish on the outside. The inside is the stone that you know and love, but it comes with a lid that also doubles as a serving tray. This is perfect for cakes or little casseroles, whatever you want to do, including this recipe. But because I have a house full of hungry people, I'm going to make the recipe a little bit bigger than what it's called for, and I am going to use our stone rectangular baker. Still this beautiful white satin finish with the stone inside and the lid that doubles as a serving tray. You can get all of these as a set, so the lid and the baker together, or you can get them separately. For this recipe, you're going to need to use both. So we're going to start out with, we've got the onion, we have the oven, pampered not perfect, we have the oven preheating to 425. Now our stoneware is safe up to 500. It can go under a broiler. It can also go in the dishwasher. That is a great feature of the Stone Fusion stoneware that we transitioned to a few years ago. So some of you know and love your favorite pieces of stoneware. I'm sure they have built up that great finish, and you can do that as well with these, or you can pop them in the dishwasher. So first we are going to slice an onion. Now you want the onion to be very thin, so I have my onion here, and I'm going to take one of our coated Santoku knives. I love our coated knives. I never had them until I became a consultant, and I got one in my starter kit, which I threw away all my other knives. I was like, this is great. It's lightweight. It goes in the dishwasher. It's got a cover so you don't have to worry about cutting yourself, or if anybody grabs the knife, they're not going to cut themselves. And I want to show you two things because the recipe calls for it to be thinly sliced. So there's two ways to do this. So I'm going to just really quickly slice this in half. And you could use the simple slicer, which is great for slicing onions, peppers, anything that you need to be really thin sliced, lemons, limes, if you're doing some recipes. And it locks because it does have a very sharp blade on there. So you've got your cover here. And then you can slide it to 1, 2, or 3. Those are your thickness levels. So for something like this that you want it to be thin sliced, obviously we're going to do that on 1. So the cover here, if I get this lined up on the handle, you've got little poker things that go through. There we go. Hello. It doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. So you can poke and hold your food that you need to slice, and then you're just going to pop that in there. And then this is really a safety feature. So let me move that knife out of the way. And you hold this, and you're just going to go up and down very quickly, and the handle will push down. And you can see I'm getting these super thin slices of onion. Let me just finish that off because we're going to need the whole onion. And you just want to prepare for you. So that is the quick slice. I'm sorry, the simple slicer. Oof. It's been a long day, guys. Okay, next up though, what I want to show you is the Rapid Prep mandolin. If you don't have this, you have to have this. When this launched in the spring of 2022, it was one of the fastest selling items. It went on back order because everybody loved it so much. It is fun to play with in the kitchen. It is safe to use, so kids, little kids can help because it's so amazing to have kids helping you in the kitchen. You need to start them early so that they learn to love and appreciate food. And studies have shown that when kids are hesitant to try new foods, if they've helped create the meal, oven's ready, if they've helped to create it, they're more apt to at least try what they helped you with. So you can, if you don't know already, it's got 2 dials on the back. One is for thickness. You can go from very thin up to thick. And then you've got another dial for the different cuts. So you can do something, a full slice, which is what we're going to do, or you can do all the way up to a French fry cut. So you can julienne cut, you can do potato chip cut, you can do French fry cut, you can do all julienne. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's so much fun to use. It comes with the dual-sided cleaning brush, so you can kind of poke in there, but the blades are hidden, so you're not going to get, if you take off the chute, they're back there behind this plastic covering. Now, yes, this is plastic, but all of Pampered Chef's plastic, anything that comes in contact with food is BPA free, so you don't have to worry about that. Another great feature of this, it goes in the dishwasher. A huge fan of anything in the dishwasher because I am all about saving time in the kitchen. I want to cook homemade food and have a meal together, talk about our day, what happened, what's coming up, who's doing what, who's got what schedule. But I also want to be in and out of the kitchen both before eating and after. I want easy cleanup. I'm tired. I work. I gotta rest. You know, getting old here. So I'm just gonna put this in the chute, and then you've got your little pusher here, which I just want to make sure. I have done this before, guys. It's super easy to put it in the wrong way, but then it gets stuck and the whole thing cracks. But that's why we have replacement parts. So always look, if you lose like the little Barbie brush that comes with the garlic press, Pampered Chef has replacement products. If you want to buy a whole new product, sure, no one's going to say no, but remember, we have replacement parts for just these things. So you unlock it, and the handle pops up, and then literally you're just pushing it through, and it's thin slicing it. And again, you've got those thin slices as well. Now they're a little bit smaller because I did cut it in half. And look, I've managed to get it stuck. Aha, there we go. Let me just put in the other half. I probably should have cut this at a different angle. How fast? They don't call it rapid prep for nothing, right? All right, so there are all of my slices. And of course, you've got your catcher in here. Now, here's a tip if you're going to use this for French fries, because, I mean, who doesn't love, you know, a good French fry? So what you want to do when you make your potatoes in here, slice them up, then just fill this with water and let it sit for about half an hour. Empty it out, do it again for about another 10 minutes, and it's cold water. Rinse it out, and then bake it, air fry it. And what's going to happen is that's taking out that starch. You're not going to have the mushy French fries. You're going to have nice crispy French fries. And of course, you don't want to forget your seasoning salt. So as I said, I'm just gonna put this lid off to the side really quick, and I'm taking my rectangular baker. It's still nice. It's starting to get a couple of spots of buildup, but I like to keep my things so nice and clean. So we are just going to place the onion in here, and I'm taking my flexible cutting mat, which is so great because then you just like bend it, dump it, perfect. Got all the onions in here. I'm just gonna spread them out on the bottom. And then it is asking for water. So about 1/4 cup of water. And of course I've got that in my Easy Read measuring cup because that has all of the numbers on the inside. So then you're not trying to balance and go down. You can just like hold it and see exactly where it is. So I'm just gonna pour that water in here, and then it wants a tablespoon of butter. Guys, I love the butter, the half sticks, and then they've got a little measurement, so I just take my kitchen paring knife and I wing it. Sometimes I cut a little bit more butter because, you know, you can never have enough butter or garlic. And if you are cooking versus baking, you can play with the recipe a little bit. I'm just gonna cut this into little 4s so I can kind of spread that around, just so I can make sure it melts, and then a little pepper. So I've got my, we have our salt and pepper grinder set, so it's so easy, fresh ground pepper. You know, there's a measurement on here. You gotta measure with love, you know, like garlic. That's with love. So then we are just going to pop this in the oven for 25 minutes, and we're gonna stir this occasionally. So stay tuned. After the pause, there'll be a little bit more. So while the onion is caramelizing in the oven, which by the way, I wish this was smell-o-vision, it's only been just a few minutes and it smells so good. You can start preparing some of the rest of the steps. So when the onions come out, we're going to add our chicken and we're going to add Swiss cheese. Now the recipe calls for Swiss cheese. I prefer Gruyere. It's a little less tart, sour. I've never been a fan of Swiss cheese all my life, but Gruyere is where it's at if I have to do something. And so you want to really try and shred your own cheese. Is buying pre-shredded cheese convenient? Of course it is. I mean, you know, let's be real here, but it's coated with a chemical so that it doesn't clump together. If you buy that pre-shredded mozzarella, you know if you put it on something to melt, it kind of melts in those lines. It doesn't really get nice and goopy and gloppy and stringy and oozy because of that coating. So while it is a little more time consuming, it is much cheaper and much better in the long run to buy your own cheese and shred it. So, and you can store it, you can freeze it once you've got everything shredded. You can, you know, shred it and store it in half-cup servings, and then you're ready to roll when you have a recipe. But this is calling for half a cup. So I've got my Gruyere and my coarse shredder here, and I'm just gonna shred it now. This is bad, but we're being real, right? This comes with holders so that you can put your cheese in and hold it, and your fingers are not getting anywhere near the grate. But when I have a big chunk like this and I know I'm not going to get it down to those little pieces, I shortcut it and I don't use the holder. So I'm just going to shred away here, go as fast as I can, and I'll keep flipping it so my fingers are not getting shredded, right? Because we don't want that to happen. Interesting flavor, right? No. So we're just gonna measure half a cup, and of course cheese is nice and fluffy, so you want to pack it down a little bit, not quite like you're packing down brown sugar, but you know, again, we talked about the butter, the garlic, a little extra cheese never hurt anybody either. So we've got our cheese, it's ready to go, and then I'm just gonna store this in one of our silicone reusable storage. Okay, our caramelized onions are out. I'm just gonna get my silicone oven mitts and show you. They're getting nice and caramelized in there, and the smell is amazing. So gonna keep that right there, and our next step is to season chicken. Now you can use onion soup mix from the store, not a problem, or what I'm gonna use tonight is the French onion dip. So if you do use the store-bought onion soup and dip mix, it's just one packet, but we do give instructions if you're going to use this. Now, this French onion mix is amazing. You can make seasonings, dip, you know, add it to sour cream and mayo for onion dip, or you can add some to some olive oil for a little onion dip with our onion oil dip for the sourdough bread that we have. So all of our seasonings and rubs are amazing, and so many of them can be used to make a dip or salad dressing or what have you. So we are just going to, I don't know why I'm twisting it, because we want to take the lid up. So the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of the mix, and we're going to season the chicken with it and then some of it in with the onions. So I'm going to first sprinkle some over the onions. Like I said, you never want to have enough onions, and I'm just going to take my mixing scraper and stir that all up to make sure all of the onions are nice and extra oniony. Spread those out. Okay, because you don't want a clump of them. But as they caramelize, they start to clump a little bit. So you want to spread them out without making them mushy. Mix and scraper trivia. Look at the back of a mix and scraper or a spatula, and you're going to see a dial with numbers and an arrow. The arrow is pointing at a number 1 through 12. That is the month that it was produced. And on either side of the arrow, there are one number on each side. That's the year. And these are such hot sellers. You can rest assured you probably purchased it within a month or two of that. So this happens to be from August of 2013. So 10 years old, before I was even a consultant. Okay, so now we're gonna season our chicken. So I have my chicken thighs here, and I know there's a measuring thing, but again, you know, I just like to sprinkle on here because, you know, it's flavor. Like I said, baking is a science. Baking, you want exact measurements, but when you are cooking, you can live a little on that. So now I'm just going to take my tongs. You can never have enough tongs, folks. I am always using my tongs for all sorts of things. I've got big ones, little ones, toaster ones. Who's got a lot of tongs just like me? Okay, I turn that over, and now I'm gonna sprinkle the other side. I mean, I don't know, a packet probably has a whole bunch of mix in it. Of course, now if you are buying a store-bought packet, I hope that you are buying Lipton. Okay, so we're just going to place the chicken on top of the onions. So I will place these around, but you can see I have a lot of chicken here, and it's chicken thighs, so they tend to shrink up. So it does, I mean, the recipe says 6 thighs in the square baker, but I'm making more than 6, so that's why, again, we're going with the rectangular baker. I'll put these in here. Some of these are really tiny pieces. I don't know, guys, chicken lately, it's tough. It's tough to find good chicken. Okay, so that fills up the whole thing. Now we're gonna just throw that in the sink over there. And now we are going to top with that cheese. All right, so we will sprinkle that cheese all over. I mean, this looks so good. I am so excited for this to be ready. So that was about 25 minutes in the oven for the onions. And now we are going to pop the chicken in for 30 minutes, but stay tuned because there is more after the break. Okay, next steps. The chicken is in the oven, and now we are going to prepare the final steps. So what we want to do is grate some more of that Gruyere cheese. We're looking to do about another ½ a cup. So I'll do this really quickly. We've already all seen this, right? Who has the old graters? Do you love it? Or does it drive you nuts to open it? If it does, ask me for a tip on how to open and close the old graters. These are the new style, much easier, little button on the back. All right, I probably went over, but that's okay because, again, I'm making more because, let's see, I'm saying because a lot, aren't I? Can never have enough bread, garlic, butter, bread, onion. Never enough, guys. That's why my trainer loves me. Okay, so what we are going to do then is we're going to take the rest of our butter, and it's been sitting out, so it's nice and soft. This is one of our small silicone cups. They come in a set of 3. These babies are so great for small things. You can microwave them because they're silicone. They can go in the oven. So you can melt, if you melt something in here, then it's got the little spout. You can pour it, easy to clean. I have a couple of sets of them, melting chocolate. So good. All right, so we're gonna add that. And then the recipe does call for thyme, but I am out of time. Not really, guys, but you know, who's seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like 8 million times? It seems to always be on, and I never heard that Rolling Stones song before until I watched that movie. Now, if someone talks about thyme, instead of Culture Club, I now hear the Rolling Stones. Baby, 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 you're out of time. Not a good singer, right? No, I'm not. Okay, so I took the lid off. We've got the little shaky lid. I'm using the Herbes de Provence because it does have thyme in it. It's thyme, fennel, rosemary, and lavender. Can't be that bad. Lavender, nice and relaxing, so we can unwind at dinner. So we're just gonna add a half a teaspoon to that. And if you are still with me, if the singing didn't go crazy, I'm gonna take this is new in the fall of 2023. It's a set of 3. They are spreading knives, so they're great for you know, putting peanut butter on sandwiches, jelly, and it's got that little curve. I've got butter all over it now in time, so it's probably hard to see. I should have shown you already, but so you can get to the edges. So I'm just going to smoosh this up a little bit. The butter isn't quite totally as soft in the middle as I would like. So I'm going to get a little workout here in here, but that's okay, guys. And it's all right because we still have time on the chicken. Alrighty, so that is together. And now we're just going to cut up the bread really quickly. So we're going to cut the bread. And then I've got, this is the coated bread knife. Again, super easy, super light. They're all a different color. And if you saw it, it has the cover on it. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna make slices. You can do straight slices, you can do slanted slices. So I'm just gonna do a bunch of slanted, and you know, the loaves of French bread are always really big. So I'm just gonna cut it all, because if it doesn't all fit on the tray, then you have some plain pieces to be left over. Okay, we're just gonna do slices. And then remember I said that the stone lid is also a tray. So we're going to just place some of the bread on the tray. Let's see how much we can jam on here. And go all around with it. Ooh, I might be able to fit all of it. How amazing is that? Okay, awesome. Just left the little stumpy pieces. And I used our cutting board for that. This is our silicone cutting board. It's got 2 sides. You've got the well on one side, so if you're cutting something juicy, it can catch those juices. The other side is flat, and it does have the measuring on here, so if you needed to, if you're rolling out dough that you need it to be a certain length, you can do that. So we've got this on our square serving tray, and now we're just going to, here we go, couldn't find it. And then we're just going to spread this on each piece. So, you know, you get the gist of that. You probably don't need to see me spread this on a dozen pieces. And then we're going to sprinkle this cheese on top of everything. And then we'll be adding it to the oven shortly. Stay tuned. We've got about 10 minutes to go on the chicken, so now I'm just going to pop the oven open and put the tray of the bread that's got all the nice cheese and herbed butter. We're gonna just pop that right on top for that last 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, we are back. It is out of the oven. How delicious does this look? So we are going to, oh, look at that steam, but here is some delicious bread. So instead of the croutons in a French onion soup, and then look at how delicious that chicken is. And it smells absolutely divine. So I do hope that you try this recipe, and if you do, comment below. And thank you for watching, and as always, please reach out to me with any questions. Chef Malpel at your service. Thanks again, guys.